Welcome to the true biblical calendar restoration movement, the unimpeachable calendar. And this is our plan for 2020 to 2030 to expand and to make known that calendar throughout the whole world and see some adherents recognize it and appreciate it. We start with a brief history of calendar reform in our era and the only solution to the problem today. The Gregorian calendar reformation and the League of Nations. The past 400 years have seen a handful of cohesive efforts to standardize the modern calendar and iron out the inaccuracies of the solar Gregorian calendar, created in 1582 to replace the decadent Julian calendar. In 1922, the League of Nations appointed a committee of inquiry to study the question of calendar reform. More than 130 different proposals were submitted to the committee, but the Cotsworth plan was the one outstanding proposal which had already been endorsed by a number of business organizations. The crusade for calendar modernization under the League of Nations found one of its most prominent champions in 19th century industrialist George Eastman, the founder of the Eastman Kodak Company. Driven by a desire to create a more business-friendly calendar, he developed the Eastman Plan, similar to Cotsworth's plan. It was one of the first cogent models of a fixed or permanent calendar and was designed to eliminate the practical and financial inefficiencies generated by the Gregorian calendar system. His niece, Elizabeth Achilles, pursued his work after his death, creating the World Calendar Association to promote the world calendar. According to Washington Times, though innovative, the Eastman Plan was in many respects rudimentary, failing mostly to account for and preserve the Sabbath. Like many past attempts at calendar reform, the Eastman Plan was doomed by its failure to address religious and cultural concerns. Indeed, one of the major criticisms of such a calendar reforms is that they interfered with religious days of rest, which play an integral role in the organization of economic activity of the work and rest of the 70 week. To solve the problems generated by the solar Gregorian calendar and avoid the Sabbath pitfall that plagued the Eastman Plan, we are proposing the only complete, connected, harmonious, and unimpeachable calendar, the Luni Solar Barley Harvest Biblical Calendar.